Greetings, fellow deep drillers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Anoxia Station. Chapter 2, Radio Silence. Sector KM16. Depth 2980 meters. Probability of seismic activity 68%. External temperatures 35 degrees Celsius. Signs of biological activity detected. Background radiation is a little bit higher, and we have 117 alive. Cheers. Chapter 2, Radio Silence. Suspicious spores are floating in the air. Smells like sweaty feet and boiled cabbages. It took longer to go through the tunnel than expected. A period of downtime always affects the spirit. The workers have taken to drink. 3 morose men are sitting at a small metal table. Something is dripping off its corner, either cheap wine or blood. We must restore communications with the surface and begin reconnaissance immediately. Wants me to build the laboratory first. Select the station, and I'm going to go to deployment mode. I'm going to hit radar so I can see what the hell I'm doing. And it looks like northwest might be very spicy. I like spice. Let's spice our life up. Now, anything over our excess stockpile, like the petroleum that we didn't have storage for, went poof, because obviously there's nowhere to put it. We found a suspicious tunnel, mycelium. This vegetative structure of fungi and Entomologist consisting of thin branching filaments called hyphae. At the start of each day, may increase oxygen level. At the start of each day, may absorb a small amount of water. I am going to bulldoze those over because it's easy to make water. Oxygen is harder to make water. And then we have cocoons. Oh joy, cocoons. Is generating a lot of energy at the end of the chapter a good idea? Yeah, you can try to ramp up your resources at the end of a chapter, sure. Interesting. All Quakthar. Like the Colossus over roads, a majestic station towers over the pit. Another station. It resembles ours, but its railings are gilded and its walls are embellished with Arabic ligatures, the meaning of which eludes us. The station is desolated. But why? Where is the whole crew? At last, we managed to find a single readable inscription on one of the many empty fuel barrels. It says, All Quakthar, or Kathar, the Pond of Abundance. Seems the Arabs are way ahead of us. And let's do an expedition. Slowly and cautiously, the workers approach the mysterious and magnificent structure, freckled with a crackler of rust and weaving of once colorful ligature. The blast door is shut tight. It won't even budge. The workers are waiting obediently for orders, staring blankly at the Islamic ornament. Top choice, send for the mechanic. Middle choice, any explosives left which will cost oxygen. Or bottom choice, third choice, do nothing. Send for the mechanic? Alright. Open up the radar. I am going to drill here next. And we murdered that cocoon. Perfect. We found a petroleum reservoir. Most excellent. And I am going to build a generator. I'm going to do the crystalline cracking, using up a lot of fuel to make a lot of power. Oh, you know what? We don't have the lab. Oh, right. Here, I'm going to build a harvester. Here, I will drill. And here, I will build the laboratory. Thea returns with good news. The door is open. You are mesmerized by the dried gasoline stain on the left side of her shirt. Next. The entrance to the Pond of Abundance is open. You can't abandon your post, though. Someone else has to lead the rescue operation. But who? Choice. We got top or bottom. The top being the foreman. The middle is the chemist. If we want to unlock the laboratory to send in the chemist. And if that's the case, we need to do bottom. We'll decide that later. Right. Looks like you guys want to wait for the chemist. Well, we have a lot of buildings getting built, so we'll have some options soon. Chemist is unlocked because I built the lab. Hum of oscilloscopes and autoclaves. Room filled with tiled walls, filled with cigarette smoke and chalkboards scribbled with formulas. Someone's seedlings are being kept under a UV lamp. With the laboratory construction, it became possible to research new technologies. The chemist is now also available for you to manage. And I have 2 technology points. So, if you're wondering what it leads to, the left technology point leads to a second drill and the ability to filter out some radiation passively. And then the right one leads to explosive ammunition, as well as the rest of the tree. Ooh. During the excavations, a device resembling the Antikythera mechanism was retrieved. It was likely created by the ancient Greeks to be used to navigate by the stars. No particular interest to us. Shall we open a museum at the station yet? And we gained even more tech points. Fantastic. We also got a pool of contaminated water, which we can clean up with fuel. So speaking of which, I'm going to create a convector and also a refinery. Alright, looks like you guys want station generator. And we'll have that next turn. Alright, game says there's something spicy there. Unfortunately, with me building a refinery here, I blocked in that mining. So I'm going to cancel the refinery so I can drill here first. And I'm going to hold off on the refinery and put it back in that spot once that spot's cleared. Alright, so we've already seen this. Do you guys want to send in the chemist? The foreman, the chemist, or not send anyone? You guys wanted the chemist. Godspeed to her. Opening up our, let's do a filtration cycle, helping with radiation and heat. And we found a tunnel. The tunnel potentially down. Okay. Means putting a refinery here is kind of not a great idea. So I'll have to come up with a better spot for it. Opening up the research tree. We now have some more technological choices. We have 2 tech points. I can save both for later, or I can spend one now. So we've got decoy, grenade launcher, which I mentioned before, a second drill, allowing you to do 2 drills at a time, or rad filters. Installs rad filters in all buildings, reducing radiation from each by 5 microsieverts per day. And it wants me to upgrade the station, which, I think it's a level 1 station again, so I need to gain a total of 500 fuel to make it a level 2. And then we have an update on the Arab station. The interior of the station is astonishingly luxurious. Gilded arabesques, spandrels inlaid with gemstones, 2 broad stairs covered with embroidered carpets that now soak up the dirt from the miners' boots. In the center of the lounge, above a dried-up fountain, stands an enormous tree. It's a gaff tree. It's dying. A marble plaque at its base reads, "As like a locust emerging from its larva, a man awakens to a new day, where every step is an ascent to the light of supreme truths." Alright, looks like you guys want second drill. And as far as choices go, top or bottom? We can go upstairs or examine the lower section. Team bottom. That sounds wrong. The downstairs is dark and damp. There's a foul stench. Not a trace of the refinement of the upper floors. The walls are covered with a whitish slime, not unlike what miners spit out after the shift. At the end of the corridor is a hastily welded door. It is apparent the owners of the station want it closed. Top option, find out what's behind it, or bottom option, guts never lie, leave it alone. Interesting. Near tie. What's gonna win? If you haven't voted, vote quick. I'll have to make a choice. Alright, Pandora's box shall be opened. A small maintenance room, no light and no heating. The source of the stench is here. Rows of cocoons the size of a man. It's a nest of some kind of creature, a clutch. The creature itself is nowhere to be found, but it's undoubtedly nearby. Okay, well, I can't do the top option because we didn't send the foreman. So we can bring them to the lab, or guts never lie, leave it alone. Hey, you guys want the sealed creature in an abandoned Arab station to be brought to our laboratory. I feel like, chat, if you were in John Carpenter's The Thing, you'd be the first to die, and it'd be gruesome, gory, and deserved. But okay. The cocoon extraction proved to be a mess right away. At first, no one dared to touch it, then a volunteer carelessly cut open some kind of bladder, and it burned his hand with toxic acid. Finally, one of the cocoons was recovered and delivered to the laboratory in a lead box, but studying it will take some time. Time we obviously don't have. After examining the cocoon, the chemist and the doctor concluded that the vulnerable spot of the adult specimen is its soft abdomen. Well, thanks for the burns, guys. Alright, you guys wanted a second drill. I have 2 points left. So rad filters leads to research center. An opportunity to improve the laboratory adds a special experiment process, which adds a technology point upon completion. But yeah, you overwhelmingly voted for rad filters, so got it. That was a runaway immediately anyway. All right, so it wants me to upgrade the station, and I need a spot to build a refinery for that. More crystals. Oh, that's not digging anything. As you can see, my paths forward are very blocked by these crystals. Alright. The interior of the station is... Okay, we read this. Go upstairs. There is no one upstairs, only empty living quarters. Eventually you find a spacious meeting room. Nothing like the pathetic closet at our station. A round window looks out onto a central lounge. On the desk, covered with dust, soot, and cobwebs, we find a topographical map and a logbook. The obtained data is incredible. There's a whole ocean of oil beneath us. The vast reservoir doesn't appear on our maps, but it has a name. Hyperborea 12. And we got a tech point. Okay, rad filters it is. Is my chemist free again? Yeah. So I'm going to use crystalline cracking here. It burns a lot of fuel, but it opens up the way for more mining in the southern section. And I will be building a refinery soon, so we will have a remedy for that soon. Plus, it generates a heck of a lot of power instantly. Another cocoon. All right, I am low on fuel, so I'm gonna do some manual fuel distillation. And let's go ahead and build the fuel refinery here again. Because what I can do is I can drain this lake and open up the way to the tunnel. Hydnellum, a mutated mushroom with a white fruit body and red flecks. It resembles a coral, an Easter cake, and a bloodied tooth at the same time. It emanates a foul odor of rotten meat and vibrates suspiciously. I don't like the vibes of a vibrating bloody tooth mushroom. I don't know about you, but kind of creeps me out. We have 2 tech points, and we can get the research center as a new tech if you guys want. Or we can save both tech points. And a miss. Okay, I am totally out of fuel. I don't really have a way to produce any more at the moment. So the best thing I can do is just wait a turn for our fuel refinery to get done. Does look like you guys want research center next. Copy that. And the goal is to upgrade the station, which I am, believe it or not, actually working towards. I'm just wanted to empty out some space, because you can obviously a game mechanic here at play where you build your way into being stuck by blocking all the expansion spots. So I'm actively trying to avoid doing that. A disgusting smell of rot appears in one of the tunnels. Upon inspection, a partially decomposed animal carcasses are found, possibly washed in by water from other shafts, or perhaps you have simply stumbled upon a livestock burial ground. Miners begin to complain of dizziness and nausea when working in that sector. Oh boy. Ignore the stench and continue working in gas mask, or stop the work and clear the tunnel of corpses. The bottom option requires 240 fuel, which I do not have, so I'm not really sure that that's a viable option, but I can try to click it. No, it has to be the top. All right, shouldn't have done that until I had the fuel. This is a hellflower, a unique plant blooming from the very heart of a volcanic stone, exudes the fetid smell of rotten flesh. We also got another hydelum down there as well. But we finally have a refinery, so we can start making some legit fuel now. Get rid of the bloody tooth monsters. And we're opening up a spot where I can start pumping the water. Looking good. Yeah. So now we just need to save up a whole bunch of fuel. So that we can upgrade the station. Alright, at this point, we have another technology point. So, we've got grenade launcher, decoy, or machine guns. Equips the drill with machine guns, drilling damages nearby hostile creatures. Keeping in mind, of course, this is my final technology point, so, you know, might be worth saving on to it. Okay. A humpback crawler. So a reminder, it is photophilic and likes to eat our station, essentially. Miners return, pale, deep in the tunnel. He heard something resembling moaning or crying. People gather around, and indeed, a barely audible sound, soft and gentle, almost childish. But that's not possible. No one could have survived at this depth. Whatever it may be, it can't be human. Top, let the foreman handle it. Middle, hurry, we can still help it. Or bottom, you must be hearing things, leave it. Reluctantly, the Dane steps through the dark, narrowing tunnel. He doesn't speak English, so he remains silent. Not able to describe what he sees. The only sound of crying can be heard. His chest camera, albeit with interference, shows you what Nud sees himself. Oddly shaped thin white mushrooms, oily stones, and something that looks hexagonal, window-sized honeycombs. When Nud approaches one, something slips out from it, grabs and drags him away, breaking the poor guy's spine. The camera feed cuts out, along with the childlike crying. You guys killed the foreman. I keep trying to gently warn you that you're being stupid, but stupid is as stupid does. We don't have a foreman anymore. No foreman. He's gone. So, good job, chat. Murdering our foreman and all. There's a commotion around the lake. A miner thought he saw a mermaid in boiling water, threw his clothes off, jumped into the lake, and boiled alive. It's a suicide, obviously, but the overly suggestible say that they keep hearing women's voices coming up from the water. Think with your other head. Alright, it's time to purify this water. Oh, I don't have the fuel. God. Make some fuel, purify the water, and pump it. No, I'm not reloading. Permanent choices can get characters, important characters, dead permanently. This is a roguelike, and you vote stupidly, you get stupid results. You go running into caves with, like, childlike crying herd. Of course you're gonna die. Like, that's just obvious. Duh. You don't go running into tunnels offering, like, weird nightmare children help. Like, you're just asking for it at that point. So, vote smarter, or we're gonna lose. Alright, so we are poisoning the humpback crawler. I've got loads of power, so we're going to impulse him. Hit him with a crit. He has 12 hit points left. So I can't flare him because my foreman's dead. Also, a big problem, rhizomes, which eat buildings, cannot be dealt with because, again, the foreman's dead. So we're going to have a bit of a struggle dealing with those in the future. Ambient temperature and radiation is rather high, so let's do a filtration cycle. And also a endothermic chlorination cycle, bringing temperature and radiation back down to normal levels. And I think we have to let this humpback crawler roam, because I don't really have another weapon to throw at it at the moment. Is there a chance to get a new foreman? No. You guys killed the foreman. Foreman's dead. Alright, the humpback crawler just almost destroyed Yodaville entirely. Luckily, I have the fuel to repair it. And let's impulse it to death. Our last dig found a rusted generator. I am going to try to activate it, and it produces a little bit of power for us. I'm also going to make another refinery so that we can get more fuel for the upgrade of our town. In terms of radar, there is more stuff to the southeast, so I'm going to dig that way. And we have room for the last of the petroleum, but I'm going to hold off on pumping it. Okay, so we've got the refineries up. Unfortunately, a rhizome, which we don't have the ability to deal with because we have a dead foreman. I'm going to spend a little bit of fuel continuing to dig in that interesting direction. And then we'll run some fuel cycles here. I need to get up to 500 fuel in order to upgrade the city. So I'm going to use one of the temporary abilities here, which is to dilute the fuel, or dilute petroleum for more fuel. So that next turn, we should have the fuel for the city to upgrade the station. So, station is now going to be level 2. And level 2 stations allow you to upgrade all the individual buildings to level 2. So like a convector can go to a boiler, your refinery can go to a concentrator, a generator can go to a hydro generator, so on and so forth. So that's the big advantage of a level 2 city, is it unlocks all the other buildings at level 2 as well. Yeah, okay. I think that's all I can do this turn. Unless I want to actively pump out water. But I don't have the fuel for that, so never mind. I'll make the fuel for it. Alright, so now we have half the water pumped out of the underground lake. So, here we go. Ingrown toenail. Sitting in your office, you feel a certain discomfort. Come to think of it, you felt it yesterday, and even the day before, but you didn't pay much attention. The nagging, sharp pain comes from your right foot. You hardly take off the badly stuck boot, unwrap the damp and sticky foot cloth, and discover something horrifying. Your toe is red and swollen. The nail has grown down into the flesh, oozes pus and blood. What will you do? Top option, go to the med bay at once. Middle option, try to cut the nail off yourself. Or bottom option, can't be cured, it will resolve itself. Med bay. You sat on the bench in the infirmary for an hour, waiting for the triage. Next to you were sitting a man with a bandaged jaw. A victim of a fire on the drilling rig were laying out on a cot nearby. You felt awkward about bothering the doctor with your insignificant problem. You were about to leave when a man in a torn hazmat suit burst into the waiting room and coughed up pinkish vomit and just fell dead. Ignoring the splashes of blood and vomit spattered all over your clothes, you stood up, went out, and never came back. Well, I think we got Ebola, guys. Still, you need to take your apparel to the laundry. Oh boy. Alright, so with the upgraded station, I'm going to do cheerful music to try to raise our mood. Because it's kind of bad right now. Kinda is an understatement. And then the game wants me to build 3 radio towers. Additionally, I wouldn't mind trying to get other technology up to a higher level. So I'm going to build this refinery up to a concentrator. And this harvester up to a drilling rig. I feel a little worried about this drill, but I'm going to do it anyway. A little worried because it has a lot of hotspots, and I might be unearthing something horrible. But I suppose we'll see. I'm also going to start to try to impulse shoot the rhizome as best as I can. Character unlocked, Engineer. You have upgraded a harvester to a drilling rig. The drilling rig automatically extracts petroleum, but causes tremors that can attract hostile creatures or provoke earthquakes. We also found a tunnel. High voltage cable. In the tunnel, one of the workers accidentally cuts a cable that powers the lights and equipment. A short circuit occurs, electric current surges through his body in a flash. The tunnels are instantly filled with the stench of burning flesh and wires. His colleagues find the charred corpse and realize that the entire mine is now plunged into darkness. Top option. Urgently replace the cable to restore the power supply. This costs just over half of my fuel. Middle option. Ask the engineers to develop emergency power circuits, which costs technology point, the only one I currently have. Or bottom option. Punish the shift supervisor for his negligence. So you can see one of the advantages of having tech points saved up is obviously this middle option wouldn't be an option if I didn't have the tech point saved up in advance. All right, there we go. We restored power with a tech point. So the drilling rig provides a passive amount of petroleum per day without having to deplete the petroleum generator, which is weird, but that's just how it works. And then the concentrator up here generates a lot more fuel per day at the cost of oxygen. So we are now in a net negative oxygen situation, so I might want another convector or to actively run convection cycles with the water that we have from this pump, which is now pumped the underground lake dry on purpose so that we can flatten it out so that our city can go to the tunnel exit. The game wants me to build 3 radio towers. So let's go ahead and do that. Here's 1. Here's 2. And here's 3. Before end of turn, Try to blast the rhizome again. Oh, it's stunned. Good. Okay. So we've got an acid snail. I'm gonna drop insecticide. Try to shoot it. The game wants me to upgrade one of the radio towers to an outpost. So there we go. This pump can go bye-bye. We have another petroleum zone here, so I'm going to start harvesting that one for more petroleum so that we have a lot more fuel. And I'm going to do a refinery cycle for some of the petroleum we already have. The engineer that we have, Gunter, can plant plastic explosive. So this acid snail is blind, and because I don't have a decoy ability, which would be here, I can't lure it because it's blind. It won't go to flares or anything. It's not photophilic. What I can use is an energy shield. So it costs energy, and it will temporarily protect a building, so I'm protecting our city as a result. I think that's my turn. And it's moving in the opposite direction. It's not trying to attack my city. Alright, it's very hot out, so let's use a endothermic chlorination cycle, reducing that temp. And then also run cheerful music. The snail is dead. And it wants me to find and eliminate all 3 cocoons. We also unlocked an innovation. Neutralizing an occupied tile gives a small amount of random resource. Opening up the radar here, I'm going to say the cocoons are here, in that spot. So we're going to start digging to the last cocoon. Awabek, thank you for the resub. Glad you could catch a stream. Alright, our fuel now is quite high. I am going to crack these crystals too. And dig. Oh, this is like an impassable. Well, I'll still dig, but yeah, we have a limited zone that we can go to. Another thing that would be nice to have is the research center, so that maybe I can get my tech points back. Okay. Giant larva. A giant larva of an identified insect. It's scary to even imagine what an adult looks like. At first glance, it's harmless and vulnerable. If you're wondering, I can't shoot it. It's too big. I can commit a terrible and meaningless sacrifice and feed it one of my crew. I guess I can allow you to vote on that if you want. Do we feed someone to the larva? Alright, other things is to try to find that last cocoon. So there's mycelium here that I'm going to clear out. I'm going to keep digging in this direction. On top of that, I want to try to kill this rhizome. And we missed it. Shucks. We did upgrade the research center, and the research center has an ability called laboratory experiment. So it costs 125 fuel and 45 power, generates a lot of radiation and heat, but has a chance to gain a technology point upon completion. So we'll try that to refund the... Oh, and we got it. We got a tech point. Perfect. Trying to refund what we used to rebuild the cables that we cut. All right, you guys don't want me to feed the giant worm. So we're not getting Dune up in here. Got it. And we're still looking for the last cocoon. On top of that, because of the concentrator and refinery that we have, I need to run the convection cycles a little bit more frequently, which is fine, but it's so that we can replenish our oxygen, because it is in a net negative situation. Also, Omega, thank you for the gifted subs. Okay. Let's try another lab experiment. And it worked. So, tech points. I have 2 tech points. We can save it for later. Get decoy, grenade launcher, or machine guns. If you're wondering what's behind all of these locked ones, behind machine gun is third drill. Behind third drill is surface communications to be able to summon new Terranauts. And then behind that is deep vision, improves radar, revealing the location of resources across the entire section. Behind grenades is explosive ammunition, and that is emergency cooling. Gas development, being able to produce gas, which is honestly, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, kind of important. Turret systems, liquid nitrogen, freezing enemies, and tectonic stabilizer to delay earthquakes. Okay. I suspect that this is the cocoon, which will be revealed pretty soon. We're very low on power. I am going to get rid of some of these radio towers because they are eating up my power, and I don't really need them. So we're in a power -10. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. So instead, build a generator, and blast the rhizome. Alright, it's almost dead. And then to generate a little bit of power, never use emergency reset, honestly. It sets your generators on fire, kind of sucks. Only use in an absolute emergency. So there's not really I can click one of my generators and have it generate a little extra power today with the activation boost, just so that we have enough power to deal with whatever comes tomorrow. And there's the cocoon, exactly where we thought it would be. Perfect. I don't think I really need this harvester. We're at a power negative situation. It is going to be power positive tomorrow because of all the extra generators we built. You guys did want grenade launcher. Got it. With the fuel that we have, we could try to do another research cycle, but it, of course, requires more power than I currently have. I can go down to the generator, any of the generators, and generate one of those extra boosts. Just so we have enough to keep the lights on, which is kind of important. The convector cycle should also run as well, because we're high on temp and radiation. And then the goal right now is to eliminate the cocoons. And I think I'm going to use an insecticide for that as well. Done! Alright. Killing the cocoons, summon a worm. Fortunately, it's in my insecticide cloud at the moment. A colossal, ferocious creature. The petals of the hellflower turned out to be the mandibles of this abomination of nature. Destroys everything in its path and hides underground if injured. Unfortunately for it, it's dead. My Entomologist's special ability is super murder bugs. and I decided to super murder bugs. Huh! It did cost, of course, a lot of DNA, which I'll have to build back up. But, yeah, I mean, I'm a Dale Gribble level exterminator here. Alright, find an exit and leave the sector. I have 30 days before I have to get out of Dodge. And, I think it would be wise to try to capitalize on my successes. So, what I would like to do is get more tech points before I have to go out. So we have 29 days. I have 3 tech points left over right now. So here's some tech choices. Decoy, machine guns, or explosive ammo. Explosive ammo allows your station to launch fire cluster munitions. FYI. What's with my power not being in the positive? But it looks like you guys want explosive ammo. Copy that. Oh, we have an earthquake. A minor tremor. A reminder that we are on borrowed time. Unfortunately for me, I think the hero that does the... Oh, no, that's not true. The total repair is still alive. So we'll do a total repair here to bring everything up into working order. So, cluster missions. Fires projectiles that deal damage to all hostile creatures in the sector. Hits everything. Pretty awesome. And I'm going to use it to kill the rhizome. Rhizome's dead. Next technology choice. Decoy, machine guns, emergency cooling, which is a special ability to the convector, which allows you to significantly reduce the temperature at the cost of petroleum or gas development. The gas development allows you to start exploiting gas deposits and store it in gas holders. And then the reason I built all those generators is so that I could try to do more lab experiments. Which worked, but it also made it stupid hot. So I gotta cool stuff down. Convector, run. And interestingly enough, generator, run. And then endothermic chlorination, run. So now we're at 74 Celsius. We're not... I mean, we're kind of melting our faces off, but it's not as bad as the 120 Celsius that it was a moment ago. Looks like you guys want gas development. Got it. I think after getting gas development, I'm going to mosey on to the exit. So... transformation, mobile platform, and as you can see, nothing really changes as a result because we're mobile, so we're not connected to any of the facilities. I have a pretty decent supply of petroleum and fuel, and chapter 2 is done. The sound of the menu is unbearable. You know, if it makes you feel any better, I have my volume of Anoxia Station set to 8%. So it could be 10 times worse. Mission accomplished. Expedition lasted, creatures killed 7, people survived 110. So we've lost 10 people since the start. I mean, you guys did feed my mechanic to some sort of horrible husk. Thank you for tuning in to Anoxia Station, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it. as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow survivors deep in the subterranean underground.